Alrighty. Let's just get right into it now. Because I only had 34 minutes. Okay, stay calm. Alright, pretty much everyone except John has called you on your bullshit thus far. So you may as well give her the full confession. You absolutely did change the course of reality, but it was the result of a genuine fuck up, not ill intent. It's kind of a long story, but you relate it as best as you can. Your strange lack of memory, an encounter with a bizarre and magical artifact, the way you blundered into John's life and destroyed his mail as a result of your highly relatable social anxiety. The girl listens intently as you explain what brought you here, and thus offers you an apology. I think that you've irreversibly altered the very fabric of the threads of her cosmos together. There's probably no way of putting things back like they were and letting this lady go to her golden dream quest, or whatever she was blathering about while you were distracted by her very deadly gun.
Okay, you sound very sincere, and I'd like to believe you. So I'll take you at your word for now. Whatever shenanigans you involved yourself in, I trust that you did not intend to cause any problems. Let's put all this ugly business behind us.
The girl holsters her rifle and you breathe a long sigh of relief.
Sorry about all that. I promise I only have the best intentions.
It's cool, you tell her. You get the distinct feeling that you've dealt with much worse.
Yeah, I'd imagine a space hopper like you has been able to do all sorts of cool and dangerous places. I'm kind of jealous, really. But anyway, we never properly introduced ourselves. My name is Jade, and my dog's name is Beckwhirl. What's yours?
Huh? You know, you think this is the first time you ever had been asked your name? Ever? You almost forgot you had one. You told Jade your name.
Huh? That's a very unique sounding name. I like it.
I told you that you like her name too, and she beams.
Thank you! I'm so glad my grandpa gave me this name. It's so pretty and fairly unique and just very likable. Hee. Anyway, why don't I show you around? I can give you a tour of the house and we can get to know each other a little better.
Oh, that sounds great. You're an expert at taking tours of other people's houses, which makes sense, since you don't exactly have your own house. Jade stares directly at you.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
No, it's cool. You have magic now, so that's a trade-off. It's probably pretty fair.
Right. Well, this is of course my room. As you can see, I have a ton of pretty posters. This is my favorite. It was a gift from Dave, and I love it to pieces, even though it honestly is pretty dumb. But that's the point.
She gestures at a poster of Dave's webcomic guides with the animal attributes scribbled onto them. Most of the other posters also feature anthropomorphic fauna, drawn with significantly more finesse. It gives you a very furry vibe. But not in a bad way, you clarify. Her lips twitch in irritation, and it occurs to you that people are probably constantly either clowning on her for liking furry stuff, or reassuring her that they aren't about to clown on her for liking furry stuff.
Well, I don't actually dress up in suits or any of that nonsense. But I really love animals, and I think it's fun to imagine what it'll be like to be one. Which is why I own many animal toys. Like the Manthro chaps, who are very silly and dignified fellows. You're part animal and part Victorian era gentle sir. Jade gestures to a pile in the corner, heaped high with plushies and dolls of all sorts. Many of them look like man-animal abominations with curly mustaches, and others feature bright and puffy squid-like creatures. Oh, and these are my squiddles. They are based off a cartoon show. Rose says it's a bad show, but I don't believe her.
Jade fishes through the toy pile and retrieves a dark bluish-black toy.
This one is Inkabelle. She's my favorite. In an episode, she gets lost in a murky brink shallows and spends years completely alone, lost without any of her friends. But in the end, her friend Podlight tracks her down and saves her. It seemed so bleak the first time I watched it that I literally cried, but I realized at the end it was a very poignant tale. Jade smiles wistfully down at the plushie in her hand.
She glances from it to another one of the Squiddle dolls, and her expression tightens. She squeezes the doll just a little too hard, causing a horrendous pinchy squeak.
I guess in retrospect, it was a pretty silly thought. I mean, it was just a kid's show. Of course, there's going to be a happy ending. That's how those always work, right?
Jade's still smiling as she tosses the doll onto her bed, but she puts so much force into the throw that it goes craning off the edge in a wheeze. You hear it plop onto the floor with a magnetize itself to another squiddle. Its face walks with a weak little "Yay!" Jade stands up and brushes off her skirt. Her eyes fall to her bedspread, which features a striking cloud design. She sighs slowly, and then assumes a bright smile once more.
Anyway, let's go explore the rest of the house, shall we? I've got so much to show you.
Jade hikes up her skirt and skitters down the spiral staircase, 2 steps at a time. You're a little interested in the high-tech devices laying on the workbench near her bed, and in a glowing green crystal that you think is literally uranium? But Jade's already gone, and you tear your eyes away from and follow. The landing below her room is small and cylindrical, and features only a gray closet-looking device and a platform on the floor.
My room is at the top of a tower, but this transvertiser will take us to the garden quick and easy.
She hops on and disappears in a flash of green light. You're a little nonplussed, but you've seen weirder. You step onto the platform, hear a light click beneath your feet, and in an instant you're standing on a lush garden atrium. There are exotic plants as far as the eye can see, ranging from psychedelic floral arrangements to tropical fronds and fruits and vegetables. Tall window blankets and walls allow sunlight to stream in, and said windows are coated in a steamy mist. You feel like you've just clotheslined by a rainforest.
It's beautiful, right?
Jade opens her arms and spins around, gesturing to her various gardening stations. You nod, it really is.
Gardening is another one of my favorite hobbies. It's a great way to get your hands dirty and do some real work. And the end result is really vibrant and beautiful.
Jade waves her rough and calloused hands at you, and then strokes her fingers along a pinkish petal of an anemone and hums a little tune toward it. One of its leaves seems to curl toward her touch. When Jade pulls away, she skips toward one of the windows and motions for you to follow. It's a beautiful island vista that awaits your gaze. To your left is a towering mountain that might just be a volcano, and ahead of you is a small bay filled with giant lily pads and old mossy temple. Beyond the island, the sea stretches out to a shimmering horizon. Past that boundary line, an entire world awaits, ever so out of reach.
This is my home. This entire island belongs just to me, Beck, and my grandpa. It's a very peaceful place. The greenery is so lovely, and the bay is very fun to play and take a dip in. There's some mysterious ruins down there, too. I've always been very curious about them, but Beck won't let me visit them. I guess he thinks they're just too dangerous.
Grandpa's been there plenty of times before, though. Could her grandfather give her a supervised tour? Oh, Grandpa doesn't really move much anymore. He spends all his time having tea parties in the foyer. He's quite old then? You could say that. Jade wanders away from the window and toward another one, whose view is exclusively centered on the rolling blue. She presses a hand against a misty pane and sighs. You know, Dave talks a lot about coming to visit me here. I mean, all my friends do, but Dave especially. In his usual Davey way, of course, but Jean's making lots of jokes and not sounding very serious about it. Yeah, I'm itching to put on my safari hat and come on a trip sleeping down the Doomed Death Archipelago to get my ass murdered by Infidel the Eldritch Retriever, stuff like that. I know he really means it, though. He wants to see me, just like I want to see him. But it's just wishful thinking. He doesn't know where the island is. Even I don't know where it is. All deliveries here go through some company P.O. box my grandpa set up before he died, and it's not marked on any maps. Because this is a special island with all kinds of important secrets on it, I guess. Or it was special. I was special.
But not anymore! Now I'm just a regular girl stuck alone on this dumb island for the rest of my stupid life.
Whoa. You asked Jade if she's feeling alright.
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Just peachy, thanks for asking. Come on, let's keep up with the tour. There's no time for dilly-dallying. My grandpa's collection rooms are up next. The first one is full of his big game hunting trophies. I never shoot an innocent animal, and I think the trophies are pretty hideous. But I guess I have to admire his great work stuffing them, I guess. Is it really hard to properly stuff and mount something? Trust me. And he has some cooler stuff on the lower floors, like all these badass knight statues. Or these, faded blue portraits of pretty ladies? Okay, I'm going to be honest, most Grandpa's collection stinks. But I think it's important is what it all represents to him. He's been on all sorts of incredible, amusing adventures, and has this huge array of interesting things to show for it. I told Jade that her grandfather sounds like a hell of a guy. He sure is. Back when I was little, he used to go on trips all over the world and come back with so many interesting stories and new souvenirs. I was so odd. I guess I was a little jealous too. Sometimes he would be gone for days or even weeks at a time, and it would just be me and Beck holding down a fort. I was always so happy when I came back, and I listened to his tales without making a single peep. But he never asked me if I wanted to come along for an adventure, no matter how obvious it was that I did. I guess that's just the way of life for adventuring folk. There's no time to be tied down, even by the people you love. They can stay home and wait for you to come back. That's how it is for my grandpa, at least. What about you? You're an adventurer, too. You visited all my friends, and you've surely been to other awesome spots around the globe. So, I bet you've left someone waiting for you, too, haven't you?
Frost floods your veins and nestles into your hearts with a burning chill for reasons that you don't quite understand. Jade tilts her head and bores into you with wide, curious eyes. One of her hands is balled up into a fist, and both of them are trembling as she watches you. Geez, you're gonna have to go coach another kid through parental issues, aren't you? You swallow down your sudden anxiety, force a smile, and remind Jay that you're suffering amnesia.
Oh, right. Well, it's just this feeling I get, you know. I have great intuition.
When she smiles, the corner of her mouth twitches. It's now or never. Would she like to talk?
I said I'm fine. There's nothing to talk about. Unless you want to talk about, oh, these flowers! Isn't this one such a lovely yellow?
Surely there's nothing wrong with a good old feelings jam, right? Jade's an expressive, empathetic girl. Feelings jam should be her thing. You think that, but she's still steadfastly annoying you.
How about this orange with a goofy face on it? Why don't we boggle at it for a while?
Jade, something's wrong. You need to talk this out. That's what you two do. You're a talker, so why don't you two?
Oh my fucking god, just shut up! Please shut your stupid fucking mouth! Of course something is wrong, and that something is you!
There is a long pause. Jade stands there, her eyes wide, shocked at her own outburst. She wipes a tear from her cheek and takes a shaky gulp, and then sprints back up the stairs. Oof, that didn't work. You stand there for a while, feeling like a tender AA grade jackass steak with a baked douchebag potatoes on the side. Then you sigh and steel yourself and make the trek back up to her room. Jade is nowhere to be seen. Beck is pawing clumsily at a large, suspiciously J-shaped lump beneath the covers of her bed. You clear your throat and ask her softly if she wants to talk. It's cool, you say. You listen to teen drama all the time, and this is some particularly joyous drama. Not that you like the drama, you clarify. You just kind of exist in the perpetuity of it constantly. You are a drama magnet. There is a long pause, and you're about to turn and leave when she pulls the covers off and turns to you, her eyes all puffy and red.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm sorry I yelled at you. It's not really your fault. I mean, it kind of is, but you didn't know what you were messing anything up.
It's not fair for me to be pissed at you.
Just none of this is fair at all.
Yeah, that sounds like life, alright. You sit down on the bed and let her vent about it. It's okay, you can take it.
Okay. Have you ever spent your whole life waiting for something to happen and then it didn't?
Well, your memory is still pretty fuzzy right now, so you can't say you have, but you think you understand a similar sense of yearning. Good God, have you yearned?
Yearning is a good word for it, yeah. Let me try and explain. When I went to sleep, I would see this beautiful golden kingdom called Prospect and hang out with people there. I wake up with these fuzzy, half-remembered feelings of happiness and visions of the future swirling around my head. It was nice. It was a good life. But there was this very lonely feeling that I couldn't make go away no matter what I did. I would always tell myself, soon, Jade, soon it'll all change. You will get to travel to Prospect in your waking hours. You'll meet your friends in person. You'll finally begin to live, like really live. I waited days, months, years for the day to finally arrive and it never came. I was so sure that it would come on John's birthday. All my dreams told me so. All the signs are there. But it just didn't happen. And I don't know what to do with myself. I was able to ignore the lonely feeling because I knew that it would disappear one day. But now that the day slipped me by, it's like all those years are catching up and crashing down on me at once, and I feel so small and helpless and sad. Like the loneliest girl in the world. I don't want to put this all on you. That wouldn't be very nice. But it's not fair! Jade vaults from the bed and stamps her foot on the ground, hard. Her face is flushed and streaked with tears and snot. She looks awful, frankly, like someone who's been holding it in for far too long. Beck gets up and starts licking at her cheeks, and she holds him off until she can wipe her face with a sleeve. Thanks, Beck. At least I've got you for a best friend, right? Jade settles back onto her bed, stroking Beck's fur softly. I have a lot of complicated feelings about all this, I guess. So complicated and painful that I'd rather just pretend everything is okay. Now I can't pretend anymore, and these feelings are all that's left. And I hate feeling so glum. I hate sitting around being all sad and useless. It's stupid and pointless and a waste of my fucking energy. It's not who I am, and I'm just dumping it all on you. I'm sorry, I really am. Man, you just completely fucked up this girl's life, and she's apologizing to you? Now you feel like the delicious 3-layered shithead tiramisu served at the end of that nice meal of steak and potatoes you had earlier. You really want to help, Jade. And while you still don't feel quite get all this magical moon stuff she's been talking about, you do get how it feels to be lonely. That's something you can help with. You offer her your hand. Want to go see the world? She sniffles and lightly shakes her hand. It's not going to work. Well, there's no way you can know that unless you give it a try, right? She nods and takes her hand. You focus on a familiar destination, John's house. As you begin to dematerialize, Beck turns to stare at you, and you hear the familiar barking sound in your ears. And when the flash of light subsides, you're standing here in Jade's room, only a few feet from where you started. What? See, I told you it wouldn't work. Come on, let me show you something. Jade hops up and shuffles down the staircase, and you follow. She takes you to the teleportation pad and the atrium. These transportalizers are all powered by thermal energy and use each of the other as beacons for the sake of easy short-range teleportation. But if you hook one of them up to your nenium converter and modify the coordinates specified in a logic board, you can theoretically go anywhere in the world. Which I tried, see? She twists the top off the pad with her fingertips and pulls it off and shows you the wiring underneath. It looks messy, like someone has made multiple attempts to rewire the circuits. But when I used it only led to the exact same thing what happened just now. Beck used his powers to prevent me from leaving the island. Maybe I got the coordinates wrong and I would have ended up stuck underground or something, but I checked and double-checked my measurements. I think Beck just doesn't want me to leave the island. He wants me to stay somewhere he can keep me safe at all times.
Perhaps he heard its name from above, or perhaps he just had a sixth sense about it, because Beck wanders down the staircase and over the jade. She gives him a soft stroke behind the ear. I love him very much, and as long as he's around, I'm stuck here. And because of the changes you made, it's well I always will be. Just gonna have to get used to it. Jade deflates against one of her guarding tables and offers you a wan smile. For a split second, you could swear you see droopy dog ears and a tail stuck between her legs. Depression to this degree simply is not conductive to friendship, and even if it was, you would still feel pretty shitty about it. You should do something to cheer her up. Okay, I'm gonna save here. So yeah, that's been this episode of Pesterquest. Oh god, I want to cry.